The Earth is simply too small and fragile. A basket for humans to keep all its eggs in. Up here, it seems just normal, but just looking more in depth, the Earth is facing a real change. I think calling it climate change is rather limiting. I would rather call it everything change. Everything is changing because of global warming. There is no doubt, but how much is the question? Indonesia, with 85% of its population, lives alongside the coast. So there are basically 300 million people living near the coast. The most affected country in this region is Bangladesh. Based on some studies for this country, just 1 meter rise of sea level, which can happen in a matter of decades now, this country will lose 40% of its rice land. Bangladesh is always suffering from this, and the main problem here is the acceptance of these refugees. Will India accept them if they go there, is the question. These millions of Muslim refugees and apparently aren't that welcome to Hindu and non-Muslim countries. This is seen as a major obstacle for them. How we are going to bring together things that cannot be brought together. One is national sovereignty, and the other is the fact that people cross the borders every day. Then we have Tuvalu, an island country in the Polynesian subregion of Oceania in the Pacific Ocean. This country will be completely underwater in about 10 years according to scientists. The people in Tuvalu aren't considering themselves able to migrate since they think that no country won't accept them because they need some criteria. During the movie, a woman explains that because she is over 45 years old, New Zealand won't accept her because she doesn't have their criteria. She doesn't have the work experience from the country she is abandoning. Moreover, another catastrophe occurred.
It's in the house.
Oh God, please, stop.
I'm coming out there.
Send people overseas to fight wars. Send them over here to help us. We're drowning.
You can see out there, it is like we're in the middle of a river.
On now, stay true, not a hurricane again.
And that's what it's like live inside.
Hurricane Katrina was that horrible when it hit Luzon, which from 1 million evacuees, 600,000 people abandoned their houses forever. The loss is never ending. The stress and anxiety levels in New Orleans, Luzon are so high that even after 3 years, people are still dying today from the stress of the storm. The suicide in this region are 3 times more of the US average, which is nothing compared to children who will need mental health care for the rest of their life in this region, which is 8 times the US average. Only 40% have returned to their home after the storm in Luzon. The idea is that even when you want to build there, you need insurance, but insurance companies aren't eager to write insurance policies for the new homes there.
This affected Africa as well. Lake Chad, 14,000 square miles, turned from water to desert. This lake was used from around border countries like Sudan, Chad, and Congo. This causes countries to compete for resources. With all this fight for resources, it has its consequences. Chad people used to rape women as a weapon of war for resources. Sudan women, refugees, were raped and traumatized. In the Islamic view, this must have been very difficult for them. The Nobel Peace Prize winner, Professor Motai, says that every conflict is because of resources, competence for resources, and this is due to the fact that other ethnicities do not accept each other. For instance, Arab tribes fight over African ones, or Muslims fight Christians. His words are that we are competing over limited resources. Well, the movie is quite interesting, persuasive, and informal for all these catastrophes due to climate change.
Therefore, Climate Refugees is the first feature film to explore in depth the global human impact of climate change and its serious damaging effect on international politics. Experts predict that by mid-century, hundreds of millions of people will be uprooted as a result of sea level rise and an increase in extreme weather events, droughts, and desertification. Little is being done to plan for the potential mass migration of millions of refugees who will be forced to cross national borders. The filmmakers traveled the world for nearly 3 years to document the impact of climate change, witnessing inhabitants of countries forced to leave their homes by climate events with little or no protection. And so, in the end, much like in the beginning, what is our fate as humans? As history looks back at our time, will we have solved the challenges of 10 billion people with limited resources and a changing climate? Or will our children be forced to survive in a world much more hostile than the one we live in? I believe that we are the people that future generations have been waiting for.